Okay, we're live.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I call to order this meeting, the Autonomy Conservation Authority, for this regular board meeting on December 15th as of 5:01. With that, I will do our land acknowledgement, which is we respectfully acknowledge that we are on the treaty and traditional territory of the Massasauga Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to First Peoples and their care for and their teachings about our earth and our relations, and may we honor those teachings. Thank you. And as I mentioned, we had regrets from Don Vasiliadis. I think Kevin Duguay might not be with us, but welcome everybody new to our board. Congratulations on your elections, and I'm looking forward to getting to meet those of you who I don't know in terms of your appointments. And I hope you know what you've been appointed to and aren't just showing up because you were told to. I guess before we get going, do we want to do a quick introduction for the new members and all members so that kind of we have a little bit of familiarity with who's who in the zoo here? And if so, I'll start. So I'm Ryan Huntley. I'm the deputy mayor for Cavan Monaghan. I've been on the Orca board now for this will be my third term on the Orca board. All right, I'll point to people, I think, as you're on my screen, so just to kind of keep the flow even here. So Joe, you're next up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Joe Taylor, Mayor of Otonabee Smith Monaghan Township, and just beginning my second term on Orca board.
Thank you. Ron Black.
Yeah, Ron Black, first term on County Council, on Smith Township Council as the deputy mayor. Served 2 terms before on council, 22-year hiatus, and I'm back.
Where's Smith? Sorry.
Smith Township. Oh, listen. Was still the biggest township back then.
In Selwyn.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was saying my past was in Smith Township Council, actually.
Gotcha.
My new one is Selwyn. Yeah, sorry.
No worries. Mike.
Hi, everyone. Mike Metcalf, Deputy Mayor of Trent Hills and Vice Chair of Orca, and this is my second term.
Pat.
Mayor of Asphodel Norwood. This is my first term back on Orca, but I did have a couple terms like Ron Black, but back 20 some years ago.
Welcome back then.
Thank you.
Councillor Ashmore.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ron Ashmore is my name. I represent Ward 6 in Kawartha Lakes, which is from Omemee in the south to Downeyville to the southern shores of Sturgeon Lake and the western shores of Pigeon Lake. And this is my second term. I was reelected and look forward to working with you there on the Autonomy Conservation, and certainly here to learn. And I know part of the Kawartha Lakes has part of the watershed, Autonomy watershed in it, and I'm certainly here to learn from as a new member, and look forward to working with everybody here. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Ron.
Yeah.
Adam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Adam Vervoort. I am representing the Dummer Ward in Dura-Dummer Township. This is my first term as a councillor, so here to learn and take everything in as we move forward, and looking forward to the opportunity to work with everyone.
Welcome to Orca. John Boyko.
Like Ron and Pat, I served over 20 years ago when I was deputy reeve of Lakefield before the shotgun marriage. And when I was on county council and when I was deputy reeve of Lakefield, I served on the Autonomy board back then. So I'm returning to Orca and looking forward to it.
Excellent. And Gary.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Gary Baldwin, third term city councillor for Ashburn Ward. Second time on Orca, and Monday named first deputy mayor of the city of Peterborough. So welcome everyone. Looking forward to working with everybody again.
Congratulations, Gary, and welcome back. There's a number of Orca staff on, but I think we'll save their introductions until we do a more formal training and they can come forward and present what department they're representing and kind of their roles within the organization. With that said, I will turn it to Jeanette to introduce herself.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So my name is Jeanette Levy-Smith, and I'm happy to be here at Otonabee Region Conservation Authority as the CAO / Secretary Treasurer. I have been here since July of this year, when our former CAO retired from his 8 years, and you may have met him across your paths. So I'm really pleased to be here and enjoying the role and working with the board as we move forward for this new term.
All right, thank you, Jeanette. All right, and thank you, everybody. And like I said, welcome to all the new members, and welcome back to all the returning members. So it's great. So with that, I will start moving into the business portion of our evening. So looking forward to approval of tonight's agenda. That'd be Mike and Joe seconding. All in favor? Good to go. Ask anybody to disclose a conflict of interest if they have one now or they one arises. Seeing none, I don't believe we have any delegations. I'm looking for approval of the minutes from the October 20th Orca board meeting. Can I get those approved? I see Gary and Joe. All in favor? Thank you very much. I don't believe there's any business arising from those minutes, Jeanette. No? Okay. All right, then move us to our very first report. So 2022-079, 2023 fees policy schedule. I believe, Jeanette, you'll take us through this one. And just before you do, just for the new members, we don't bring up the agenda. So you kind of need to either have it on a screen in front of you or by you. And maybe we can figure out how we do these hybrid minutes or meetings in the future, but just make sure you have a copy of that or the agenda at your disposal there. Thank you. All right, go ahead, Jeanette. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this report is on the agenda tonight, and staff are seeking approval for the 2023 fee schedule. This is a little bit of a new process that the ministry has mandated for all conservation authorities in Ontario. And that is that the fee schedule needed to come before the board and a drafts with a policy, and that was sent and circulated to our member municipalities and also to our public for comment in terms of things. We did not receive any comments from any of our member municipalities or from the members of the public. And so now it is here for you for approval. It does need to be approved by January the 1st of the new year. So I have ensured that the policy and the changes that the board requested in October were made to that policy. And then again, that was what was circulated and posted, and it's attached also as an attachment to the draft or to the report, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Chair. So as mentioned, this fee schedule has been reviewed by the previous board and passed around to all the commenting authorities for feedback. Having received none, is there any questions or comments from anybody on the board? And if you raise your hand, you kind of pop forward and I can see it. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Your digital hand or your Gary hand. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, Ryan, I know we went through this. It's been a while when we did the review of this. Has there ever been any appetite with Orca to build in a COLA every year? Or does it just go to the board, Jeanette, to kind of make a different fee schedule each year, depending on the costs that we have? I know the city of Peterborough has been moving to a lot of this COLA increase every year, so it kind of keeps up with inflation. So I just throw that out there, Ryan, for maybe discussion or maybe a comment from our CAO.
Jeanette?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So there was an increase in the draft that was brought to the October 20th board meeting. We did increase our fees by 2%, and the board did support it at that meeting. So I do know in the past, the staff have looked at various lines, looked at understanding how how much it costs to do the business, what's the goal of that year, and how does that, feed into the schedule, the development of the schedule. So to the point of the question, that we do that work. It's not just copy and paste of a past schedule.
Thank you.
I guess, Jeanette, to further Mr. Baldwin's question, I don't think there's a mechanism that if there were no fee changes due to external influences and it was only a COLA increase, this fee schedule would still have to go through this exact same process, would it not?
That's correct, Mr. Chair. Absolutely.
So we can't shortcut the circuit if it's just inflation. Gary, I think it's.
And as per the regulations, the new regulations, this will come in front of the board, including the policy, roughly around the same time every year is what the regulations say.
Thank you. All right, any other questions? Seeing none, can I get a mover for the motion to accept it? Pat, thank you. A seconder? Mike, thank you. All in favor? And so approved. Thank you very much. It moves us to our next report, which is 2022-080, the Lower Trent Conservation Authority boundary expansion. This one's been looming around us for a few years and I'm in the quiet file. So Jeanette's bringing it forward now. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So yes, it has been a discussion item out there for a few years. And in fact, in 2016, there was a report brought to the Otonabee Conservation Board for consideration. However, nothing was actioned at that time. So the request going forward, staff did review it. And again, specifically looking for our support around boundary enlargement for plan review and regulatory services. So from a staff perspective, we do support the request. It's the same request in a lot of ways from 2016.
Thank you. All right, Joe, you have a question?
I do. Thank you, Ryan. Jeanette, when I read through the report, it looks to me like this has absolutely no consequence to Otonabee Conservation Authority. It doesn't affect us in any way, shape, or form. Is that correct?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that is correct. It does not affect us. We're not currently providing those services in that area.
So, but we still have to, or are given permission to comment on it? Is that how it works?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that is correct. The regulations stipulate that the support of the bordering conservation authorities have to support this going through. So that's what's triggered this letter and this report.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, how would we like to handle this report? Joe, you comfortable moving it? All right, I got a mover. I have a seconder. John, Mr. Boyko, thank you. And all in favor? And so approved. Thank you very much. All right, the rest of them are pretty easy from here on in. Our next report is 2022-081. The 2023 annual AGM and the regular meeting dates. If you want to, everybody's had a chance to review the schedule. I don't know, Jeanette, if you have any questions that anybody might have regarding the schedule. Any issues with it? Or are we good with what's any questions? No, anybody want to move the report? Thank you, Pat. And Ron, thank you very much. All in favor? And so approved. Thank you very much. Next report is 2022-082, our nominating committee for 2023. So Jeanette, back to you again.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is a report again that the board would typically see in our annual cycle. And so we're, as per our governing bylaws, seeking to have the board appoint a nominating committee for next year. So not sure if there has been any interest expressed around who would like to be the chair, and also 2 members to participate on this committee.
Is that a volunteer, Joe, or are you going to recommend someone?
No, I think clearly we should nominate Don Vasiliadis and Kevin Dugay.
I think that's how it works usually, isn't
I
it?
think that's how it should work.
I'll second the nomination.
All right. We need one more person on there, though.
I'd nominate Joe to go on that, Ryan, just because we have 2 new members. So I think we should have a senior person. And I think Joe would be well positioned to do that.
I think it's experienced member is how I like to refer to them.
Thank you for the correction.
Joe, would you accept nomination to the nomination board?
Well, I don't know whether you need a seconder. That might be problematic.
You would need another second. Or you need a firster, I guess.
I'll nominate if that's what you're looking for, Mr. Chair.
All right. You're nominating Joe, you're taking.
I think Joe was the original mover, wasn't he? If he was going to be on the committee, I got the feeling he didn't want to be the mover. But however you want to work that, Ryan, I'd be happy to help out anyway.
By Joe to get himself as the.
No, I didn't. No. I didn't nominate myself. Hold on here.
I'll second Gary's nomination if Joe's willing to accept.
All right. Thank you. Are you willing to
I
accept?
am willing to accept it.
Excellent.
Okay, I will second.
All right. So go ahead, Jeanette.
So for clarity perspective, our chair of the nominating committee is Director Taylor.
Director Taylor, yes.
Thank you.
Is that a question or a statement?
The presumptive close.
Well, if it was any comfort to anyone, I actually was on the nominating committee and chaired it last year, so it's okay. But we'd still need 2 more. Are there any volunteers? It's not an onerous job.
I can help out with that, Joe.
Thank you, Ryan. So I'm going to nominate Michael Metcalf to the nominating committee.
All right. Get a seconder to that? Do we need a seconder to that? Or do we just do them all at once, Jeanette? And the clerk's probably going nuts at this point, trying to figure out what to do.
All at once. Do it all at once.
Do it all at once. All right, so we have Joe, we have Mike right now on the nominating committee. We need one more.
No, if I can jump in here, Mr. Chair, typically we would try to get 1 representative from the city who has 3 board members. So Gary, you can either step up to the plate or you can name Vasiliadis or Dugay. What's your comfort level here?
I'd love to work with you and Mike, Joe. I don't want to put that on the 2 neophytes. I'd be happy to serve.
Oh, you're a good man. Thanks, Gary.
All right. If I'm nominated, Joe.
Done.
Mr. Chair, maybe a quick description of what the duties of the nominating committee are, just for anyone new on the board.
Yeah, okay, so that's fair enough. I don't know, Jeanette, do you want to take that one or you want me to take that one?
I'm sure Director Taylor is able to, since he chaired the meeting chaired this committee last time as well.
Well, if I remember correctly, sorry, Jeanette, if I remember correctly, the nominating committee members are tasked with going out to seek members of there's 3 or 4 committees. There's an audit committee. There is, of course, the chair and the vice chair for the next term. There is, what's the other committee, Jeanette? Is it the 3rd?
Those are the ones that you would be tasked with finding members for that get approved at the AGM.
Okay.
Because the next committee is this one here, yeah. So it's just that you hit it.
Okay, so it's just the, to find, I think it was 3 members that need to be on the audit committee. And then, of course, we're going to need a chair and a vice chair for the 2023 year. Beyond that, there's not a whole lot to it. So it involves some work early in the new year because we have to have those nominations in place for recommendations at the AGM in late April.
So we're clear there, and we have 3 people on the tablet. So I guess we need a motion then, and I can read the motion, which would be it resolved the 2023 nominating committee comprised of Councillor Joe Taylor, Councillor Michael Metcalf, and Councillor Gary Baldwin, with Joe Taylor being the chair of the committee. Can I get a mover and a seconder for that? Thank you, Ron. Seconder. Going once, going twice.
The election's over. Everybody can look up now.
Yeah, you know the committee now. All in favor? Take that as a pass. Thank you. Are we good there, Jeanette? Are we sufficiently chased that one around enough to confuse everybody?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate it.
All right, good. We have our nominating committee. Congratulations, guys, and I'm sure you will fulfill your duties with the utmost. All right, so that should take us to the next report, which is 2022-083, our transition progress report. So I don't know, you might want to give a little bit of background on this one, Jeanette, before you dive right into it.
Sure, Mr. Chair. So part of what the transition plans have been working on, so since 2021, there have been a number of mandated directives to all of the conservation authorities in Ontario. And as part of that, we are responsible to provide progress reports to the ministry. And the next due date for that one is January the 1st. This is the same template that was established when these reports came into place. So I continue to use them. We have received perfect scores, if you will, from the ministry in terms of our progress reports. They haven't flagged anything that they would like us to continue to work on, but this would be the mechanism that we're reporting on, and they would provide us feedback. Yes, you are in compliance, or no, we have concerns, or whatever the comments might be from the ministry. So to date, Autonomy has not received any of those comments, and we continue to work through them. So we have not, we had a lot of work with our member municipalities on our cost apportioning agreements done in the last part of 2021. And then obviously with the elections, that is something that is still ongoing. We have until July of next year to complete those remaining cost apportioning agreements. And so there's really no change from this report from the last progress report. We're still obligated to provide it, but that's the background of where this comes from. And so I do look for the board to have a motion to approve the progress report, and then I submit it in terms of, that's the path, or the way we've been handling them in the past.
There we go. I was on mute. All right, thank you, Jeanette. Any questions with regard to the transition report? I think, if you correct me if I'm wrong, Jeanette, I think, but when we go through some of the training and orientation sessions, I think there'll be a lot more in-depth kind of background of what this report's about and where it's coming from and what's driving it. So
Absolutely. We intend to go over the transition plan. You're absolutely correct, Mr. Chair.
So any questions? Joe?
There was no change really from the last one. Yes.
Thank you. Councilor Taylor?
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Jeanette, I really think that the board needs to compliment the staff when you bring back a progress report that's been reviewed by the ministry with, as you said, a rating of 100%. That speaks volumes about how competent and capable our staff are doing their jobs. So I think we need, as a board, we need to point that out and congratulate all the staff on that. Thank you. I didn't bring report cards like that home when I was in school.
Thank you, Joe. Any other questions or comments on this report? Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to go on Joe's comments, and we also need to realize we're in the position we're in is far superior than many of the other conservation authorities, where our previous CAO and staff and current CAO have brought us to this point that we're in a good position to be able to keep moving forward as far as the transition plan and getting everything in the right place. So again, continuing on to what Joe said, but thank you to staff.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else? No? All right. We like to move this report and let it get filed. A mover, Mike, thank you. Joe, you good to second that one? All right, and all in favor? And there you go, Jeanette. Shooting for 100% again. You can get 110 this time. All right, that's the end of our reports for approval. We're moving on to our reports for information, and our 2022-084 report is our CAO's monthly report. And this where Jeanette kind of brings us up to speed on what's been going on in the last month in the at the Orca.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So again, I include a variety of different things in my monthly reports. But one thing I would like to highlight, and just I guess a bit of a shout out to our community, is just the fundraising that we have been doing, our Closing the Gap for the Jackson Creek Trail. And it's just been overwhelming and just so positive that the staff who ran the campaign last year and the response that we're getting this year has just been phenomenal. We will close that gap, and the donations still continue to come in. So it demonstrates how much that asset is just truly a community loved asset in terms of things. So out of all those things, that's the one thing I would like to highlight. And obviously you can see some of the other items. I'm happy to answer any questions if people have them.
Thank you, Jeanette. Any questions for Jeanette? Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jeanette, I see in the report you do mention that if there's enough interest, a tour of the conservation authorities might occur in the spring for board members. I think that's a great idea. We didn't do that during the last term. Now, I mean, I understand that for half of the last term we're all locked down, so it might have been difficult. But I think that's a really good idea. I hope that we can put that together.
I think it would be a great idea as well, and it'll have an opportunity to talk about some of the things that are on the ground and get some more context and help when things come to your table to make decisions around too. So happy to make that happen.
Excellent. It's a great idea. Any other comments, questions? Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, just the other thing, Mr. Chair, is I think the fact that you've been invited to city councils or county councils to make presentations. I think that's another good opportunity to not only talk about the required fees, but also do a little bit of positive boasting about the great job that staff and our CEO have been doing since the transition. So again, I think it's a good opportunity to tell folks what we're about and some of the services and programs that we offer. So thank you.
Anything else? Seeing none, I get a receiver of the report. Gary, was that the And I don't know, Adam, you good? Thank you. And Adam. All right, all in favor? Thank you very much. And your next report, Jeanette, is 2022 or 2022-085, More Homes, More Faster Act, Bill 23. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm sure this is a topic that you're also involved in the discussions at your municipality. So it was just an opportunity to bring this forward, and also the letter, if you hadn't seen the joint letter of all 10 conservation authorities in Eastern Ontario. Obviously, it was circulated to the former board, and our board chair signed it, and that was very precedent setting in terms of having the 10 conservation authorities do that. And then obviously an opportunity for our mayors and our municipalities to do that. It was an awkward time during the transition of the municipal election, but really pleased that occurred. I do want to highlight that there's obviously a lot of things that are still in the works and still need to be proclaimed. So staff have been very much doing their due diligence, participating in a lot of Conservation Ontario meetings and discussions, doing our own analysis, understanding should the legislation go forward as proposed, what would be the impacts, and also where, again, our transition plan, as referenced earlier, does help us, put us in a better place in terms of perhaps some other Conservation Ontario or conservation authorities. So our ORCA staff technical staff have been working with Conservation Ontario working committees and providing all of their technical advice through those ERO postings. So that's been ongoing. And we've also reached out to the municipal CAOs and the planning staff. I sent them all some communication, and it was well received. We have a meeting scheduled for at the end of January 23rd, and the staff were very receptive to coming together, having a discussion, and then we've also offered to have individual meetings. And so some of those municipalities have also taken us up on that as well. So it'll be a topic for further discussion in the new year once we know a little bit more, but wanted to let you know that we've engaged your staff and that they were very happy to be a part of the conversation in terms of what can we do here in our watershed and how can we respond.
Thank you, Jeanette. Yeah, as it's an ever evolving bill as we all go through the interpretations and we get further interpretations from whether it's legal or otherwise, but this one will keep coming back a few times until we truly understand it. But I think what Jeanette was getting at there is we are very well positioned. So hopefully we can mitigate with our own abilities here to not feel the full impact that some of the other CAs are feeling, some of the other areas are feeling. And with that, any questions? Ron, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. No, I just want to compliment Eastern Ontario boards for putting this letter together. As a new member of the board, you struggle trying to understand it all through social media. I mean, the AMO reports have been great to understand a lot of that side of it for us, but this report was great to read and understand where the challenges are going to be moving forward. So, and how they link into the municipalities and that sort of thing. So, yeah, congratulations on really a good report. It was a great introduction to ORCA for me.
Excellent. Thank you, Ron. Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I want to say hi to Kevin Dugay. Welcome, Kevin.
Oh yeah.
You were a little late. You were nominated for three committee memberships before you jumped on. So congratulations on that.
Oh, I seconded them all, Kevin.
Okay. Well, I was actually shoveling my driveway. Then one of my neighbor's vehicles she actually backed out, was driving over her front step. So I spent some time helping her push her out, and then snow bloater driveway. Then I said, oh shit, I'm late for that Orca meeting. So I'm just being a good guy. So
Okay.
let's take back one of those committees, okay?
All right, so, but I did want to comment, Jeanette, that this doesn't happen very often, but I'll bet you I've been thanked by 8 or 10 people for signing this letter. It's gained quite a bit of attention and traction. So certainly, as Ron said, it's well written and it's being well received by a lot of different people. And they're noticing that it's got support from everyone right throughout Eastern Ontario. Well, I thought that was important that you heard that.
Very much so. Thank you, Joe. Any other questions or comments on the letter? Seeing none, Joe, you're going to receive it. Thank you, Joe. And Gavin, welcome to the team. You want to second it?
We're receiving the report only.
We're just receiving it.
That'd be fine. I'd second that.
All right, thank you. All in favor? Thank you very much. Next section is our correspondence and media. We don't typically go through it all, but if anybody has any piece of it that they would like to bring forward or discuss, then please do so. Otherwise, we'll just receive them. I believe Karen puts most of that together, so if anybody has any questions, she can jump on and make a comment. And I don't see any questions. All right, we receive our media and correspondence then. Thank
Motion to receive.
Excellent. Councillor Ashmore. All in favor? So received. Thank you very much. All right, so that takes us to our open forum. We got a lot of new members on here. I don't know whether you have any comments or questions or anything you'd like answered at this point. This is your opportunity. You can bring forward Santa Claus parades if that's what you'd like to do. But you go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, so we're going to get back to regular board meetings, or we're going to keep up with the Zoom all year?
Jeanette, you want to?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I know that some of you have expressed a preference. Mr. Chair, we haven't had an opportunity to have that conversation yet. But what I thought might be helpful is that I send out a little bit of options for the board to canvass them around what their options would be and how they would like to participate. We do have them. And so that we can hear sort of everybody's preference to it. As a next step, if that's okay with the board, I can do that and hear what people have to say about how they want to participate.
And just to add to that, through the pandemic, Orca actually sacrificed its own boardroom for spacing out of the employees. So we do have do we have an agreement with the county, Jeanette, or kind of was that a one-off to use that?
That was a little bit of a one-off, and you know, it was a bit challenging to do the hybrid there, only from a staff and a technology perspective. But we do have our smaller meeting room upstairs that does have a large screen, and so we could accommodate a hybrid if that is the preference for everybody. But it you know, we would need to limit how many people were in person versus how many were virtual. So there are some different scenarios, including if you wanted to be fully in person. If that was the case, then probably could use the county offices for an in-person meeting.
So Jeanette, it does sound like we should probably take a survey of the board and figure out, you know, I mean, if everybody wants to be on site all the time, then we'll have to come up with a more permanent solution. Otherwise, we'll be kind of you know, scrambling for a home on a regular basis.
And I'm happy to canvass the board and see what the feeling is up there.
Thank you. Ron?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in favor of hybrid just for the reasons like tonight where it's terrible out. But question really is, do we have the technology to do it? I've been in a number of committees where they've tried to do hybrid with just Zoom and you can't hear people. And so, I mean, the county's got a great system there. We've had one hybrid meeting there already, and it's really gone well. So do we have equipment in our own boardroom for that purpose?
We could work on something that is in our, I'm not gonna call it a boardroom, it's a meeting room that's off the front. And again, it would have limitations around how many people could fit there. But it's technology that staff are comfortable with, and we can operate, we know what the ins and outs are. When we went to the county, we did have some technology challenges, and that just sort of added an extra layer that we weren't counting on. That's all. There's other opportunities in terms of things as well. But before I throw out some of the scenarios, I just want to make sure I can confirm our resources, confirm locations, or confirm things. That's all. So
Great, thank you.
Right, any other questions? Anything else anybody wants to bring up? All right, I don't think we have to receive an open forum, but let's move on to, there's no closed session, so no reports. Our future meetings, the next meeting is on January the 19th, 2023. Autonomy Peterborough Source Protection Authority is on February 18th. I don't know whether new members know what being on ORCA automatically puts you on the Source Water Protection Authority. So welcome to it. You'll get training on that one as well.
yeah, we usually try to have those meetings follow each other a bit too, right?
Yeah, they're back to back, so they're it's not too cumbersome on your schedules. Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Ryan. Jeanette, just to clarify, our next board meeting is January the 19th, and then our AGM is January the 26th. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the AGM, it's already been confirmed, will be virtual?
Yes, at this point, we are planning on it being virtual, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, and that, any other questions before, oh, sorry, Ron, go ahead.
Yeah, just questions around protocol. Invitations, Zoom invitations, and that sent out and calendar invitations sent out by staff, or how's that? How does that work? Just to make sure my schedule's up to date.
So now having the calendars approved, staff will send them out to you. So
Okay.
All you have to do is say, click approve for the various meetings.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Well, anybody else? Kevin?
January 19th is a city budget meeting, so none of city council will be able to attend that night. So it's Gary, it's day 4 of 4, so I'm assuming we'll still be meeting in the evening, I assume. So I doubt we will be able to attend an ORCA board meeting.
Do we want to propose an alternative, or? I think we've stumbled on this issue in the past, to be honest.
Yeah, so I did canvass everybody, all the member municipalities around A, our orientation dates, and B, also our schedule, which this is the normal third Thursday of the month that we would meet. So I wasn't aware of that. My apologies for that. Mr. Chair, if the board wants to move the meeting, then you would, for January, we should probably do that now, because you need to modify the schedule.
Yeah, we already approved the schedule, so we'd have to bring it back and change it. Just thinking, what are the odds of the city being done on their 4th day? I guess, Mr. Baldwin, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, in the past, we quite often have had been able to do it in 3 nights. But as every municipality is facing a pretty challenging budget for 2023, I would concur with Mr. Duguay. We're probably going to be tied up on that Thursday the 19th for sure. So yeah, that's the bad news. You never know. We could get done by the 18th, but I wouldn't bank on it right now.
Mr. Taylor?
Thank you, Ryan. Gary, what time of the day does the budget meeting start on the 19th?
6 o'clock, Joe.
Starts at 6. I wonder if is it possible to start the Orca board meeting, say at 4? Does that work for everybody? I think we can get through it for sure, so we don't overlap into the budget meeting. Is that an option?
Yeah, it's a good option, Joe.
That works for us.
Yeah, let's do that, because I think trying to find another date would be, we'd be tripping over everybody else's budget meetings and everything. So yeah, so let's, do we have to modify that first report or the third report, or can we do it outside of that report? Like, I don't think it had the time, did it? Just the date?
It's the act just calls for having the date. It doesn't say the time.
Okay, so I think we're good then.
You can advertise to say it's well in advance, it's at 4 o'clock.
So we'll leave it in your hands to make that happen. But I don't think we have to change any of the things already. Thank you, Kevin, for alerting us to that. All right, with that, would anybody like to move the adjournment? Mike, thank you. And Pat, seconding it. All right, everybody. All in favor of adjourning?
Great.
Thank you, everybody, for attending your first Orca meetings, and welcome aboard.
Great. Thanks, Ryan. Great meeting.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take care,
Thanks.
everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.